Okay, so hello to whatever this video is called. I don't know how Paradox could fuck it up this badly. They just released a patch, and it it just fucks tanks completely, but not in the way you're expecting. Okay, so we're just gonna talk about it, and this is gonna be a rant because I feel like ranting today. All right. So what did Paradox change? Broadly speaking, they have lowered the piercing across all of the AT techs across the board. Okay, across the board they've lowered piercing. Okay, and another key factor is they have taken off restrictions on going above 9 on everything. Okay, so there is no longer a resource increase from 0 to whatever. Okay, there is no longer a resource cost. There is only reliability and cost, basically. Okay, that's it. But those two changes have fucked everything that they have done beforehand, okay? So, let's talk about this, okay? Be very calm and collected and not scream at the top of my lungs. So, let's take an example of a 1941 tank, okay? So, if we look at a 1941 tank design, okay, you're going to see it changed a little bit from my medium tank guide, okay? A 1941 design is basically this, but you're just using the second medium cannon, okay, which you can get very early, okay? Now, I'm going to show you something, and it's going to blow your mind and how stupid Paradox can be, but here we go. So, you have this medium cannon, okay? We have 90 piercing. Cool. But here's the problem. We can't pierce ourselves, okay? With cast armor, gasoline engine, Christie suspension, the medium cannon, a 3-man turret, 1 machine gun, sloped armor, easy maintenance, and armored skirts, with a designer that only gives 5 armor. By the way, there's more designers that give you even more armor, okay? They cannot be pierced. 150 armor and 90 piercing. On a tech, on the improved tech, okay? Improved anti-tank 1. At 1941, you can't pierce yourself. On a regular tank. On a regular 1940 hull, you can't pierce yourself. Okay? And you're like, oh, okay, well, that might not be that bad. No, don't worry, it gets worse, okay? So, we're gonna take this tank, okay? Let's say you don't have access to the high velocity gun, which you won't, okay? Because 1941, for God's sakes. And we make this a tank destroyer, okay? Now our piercing is 117. You see the problem here is we have 150 armor and 117 piercing, okay? So you say, oh, okay, well, I'll just add a squeeze bore adapter. That'll fix the problem. Nope. Can't be pierced. You can't be pierced. You can't be pierced by your own goddamn TD. Okay? So, problem number 1. None of your tanks can be pierced, okay? To 1940, as we've established, okay? So now we're going to go to 1942 with an improved high-velocity cannon, okay? And we have the tech unlocked, so I'm not fucking with you guys here, all right? So let's take a look at a 1942 tank, all right? This one, I've tried to get the damn piercing up, okay? As much as I can, right? We have a high-velocity gun, okay? And a 3-man turret with a squeeze bore adapter and the same design, right? Sloped armor, easy maintenance, armored skirts, gasoline, cast armor, Christie suspension, and 1717. And we can't pierce ourselves, okay? Look at the piercing, 137 to 150. We can't pierce ourselves on our own fucking medium tank, okay? That is insane. That is insane. We have a squeeze bore adapter, right? All right, benefit of the doubt. Let's move it over to a fucking TD, okay? At least a TD can pierce its own fucking self, okay? If you give yourself the TD tag with the high velocity gun and squeeze bore adapter, you can at least pierce yourself. But here's the problem. They fucked the divisions, okay? We're going to take a look at this division. This is a standard 42 with division, okay? You can see that we even doubled our tank destroyer output, and you see our piercing is 104 and our armor is 116. We can't pierce ourselves, okay? This does not change. If you add more fucking TDs, look at the goddamn piercing number, 111, and you still can't pierce yourself, okay? You still can't pierce yourself with fucking 5 TDs in your division, okay? And you may ask, well, can't you just, give yourself a better gun? You may ask, and you would be right? you have a heavy improved cannon, okay? But here's the problem. This heavy improved cannon, right, is 125 piercing, okay? Your anti-tank gun, right? Your fucking high velocity gun has the same piercing as this big bitch, okay? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, okay? This is more reliable than this one. That's the only difference, okay? So even if you put this bigger gun, so I'll just show you, right? Even if we put this monster machine thing on here, you can see all that it's gonna do is lower our reliability and our speed and give us 5 more soft attack. That's it. Our piercing stays the exact same. So, okay, we have researched just Mechanized 1, okay? I want you to take a look at this. Mechanized 1 has 10 armor, Mechanized 2, 15, Mechanized 3, 20, okay? With just Mechanized 1, what you can get in 1939, you can build a tank in 1940, okay? As soon as you get this hole right here and you get this 1941 upgrade for engine and armor, you can't be pierced. You cannot be pierced until the end of the game. The end of the game. The end of the game. Let me repeat that. The end of the fucking game. You have to get this 1943 tech to get an advanced high velocity gun to pierce yourself. This is the only tech in the game that will be able to, for you to have pierced tanks, okay? For you to pierce enemy tanks, you need this tech. There is no other way around it. You can take every single AT tech, and now you can't be, doesn't matter. Your armor doesn't, your piercing no longer matters, because it doesn't matter if you pierce a little below, it doesn't matter, because they took out partial piercing, right? They took out the partial piercing mechanic, so now it is just, do you pierce them, or do you not? The answer is, you no longer pierce the enemy, at all. Completely fucking zero. So, this now changes tank design in a very stupid way, okay? This is it. This is the new meta, okay? This is it. You're going to build tank divisions that cannot pierce themselves, no matter what, okay? Now, I preface this by saying, there are certain countries that can get designers that can get you piercing, okay? One of them I know is the United States, okay? They can take one focus, okay, that will give them better piercing for their tanks, okay? Tank Destroyer Doctrine, okay? Plus 10% piercing and heart attack. I'm almost willing to bet money that will not change, okay? Another 10% to your division piercing may do it, but I'm betting it will. Look, 104 to 116, okay? So, this now means that the meta is armor. Fuck me, okay? So, before I go into the designs and shit that I'll just get you off with, okay? I want to talk about something else. They have now changed the way TDs work, okay? So now they used to be 50-50-50, okay? All TDs used to be the same cost, okay? Because they used to have the same amount of tanks required. They changed that, okay? So now it is 40 heavy tanks and 50 mediums, okay? Now this is across the board for whatever you're doing, okay? Light tanks will now be 60, okay? Medium tanks, doesn't matter what the variant is, so if it's TD, artillery, doesn't matter, it's 50, and heavy tanks are 40, okay? That's across the board. Across the board, that is like that, okay? This leads to its own problems, but I'm going to show you something stupid, okay? So, let's say we even though this armor can't be pierced, let's say we really don't want to be pierced by anything, okay? Let's take an example. Let's make a heavy tank, okay? We're going to put 1 battalion of heavy tanks into our unit, okay? You can see that its armor is 182, and its piercing is 125. Okay, it has sloped armor, armored skirts, easy maintenance, gun, 3-man turret, big gun, Jake Christie, cast armor, gasoline engine, 1717, and designer. 182 armor, 125 piercing. Cannot pierce itself, okay? If we turn it into a TD, it has 178 piercing, 182 armor. They cannot pierce itself. It can't pierce its own self, okay? So what does this mean? If you add one heavy tank to your battalion, your armor now goes to 129, okay? And you're piercing whatever the fuck, okay? It doesn't matter. Your piercing can't pierce 129 armor. This is the new fucking meta. I can't believe I'm saying this. I can't believe Paradox fucked it so badly that this is now it, okay? Now it's just armor. Because nobody can pierce anything. Literally. Nobody can pierce anybody. Remember guys, this is just the first mechanized. It gets worse because they get armor. They get more armor on everything. So everything gets more armor, okay? So in summary, what does this mean, okay? This means that you will not pierce enemy armor from 1936 until you get this AT tech. You will not pierce enemy armor. It is not happening. If they build a tank 1717, you will not pierce it, okay? Straight up, you will not pierce it. Not even with a 1942 tech of improved high velocity cannon, you will not pierce the enemy tanks. I don't know what crazy world we're living in, but that's it. Now, here's some hope. Paradox fucked up. Paradox fucked this whole system up. They will patch it. I'm betting money they're going to patch it. It's going to be a while, like a month or so, but they're going to patch this shit out. I guarantee you they're going to raise the piercing. There's no fucking way they don't. Okay? Because they can't decide to leave it alone because there was a meta and it was okay. It wasn't great, but it was okay. And they fucking threw it out again. And they fucked it even worse. So, again, you just can't pierce your tanks. I'm sorry, that's it. You can't pierce tanks until you have a 1943 tech. That's it. Okay? Even in 1943 tech, I'm not even positive you can pierce tanks, okay? Forget the fucking modern tank. A 1943 heavy with mediums with increased armor, I'm not even sure you can pierce it with a 1943 tech. But I'm assuming with 200 piercing, and then you get all of the bonuses on top of that, you should be able to pierce. For God's sakes, at least I hope so. So, what are some designs that will get you by? That's why you came to this video, okay? This is what I would recommend, okay? I would recommend that you build a tank almost exactly to this spec for your mediums, okay? You can see that his production cost is significant. It is 22, okay? But that doesn't matter. This was my old... Okay, look, if we go back and we go look at my old tanks, okay? What I recommended was a 9.9, okay? And this was the same standard template I recommended, okay? And you can see its cost is... And we had riveted armor, right? And its cost was like 13 or 12, okay? And... They've also increased soaked armor costs from 1% to 10%. That's why it's now 13, okay? But this doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you can make 2 of these tanks for one tank that can't be pierced. Doesn't matter. That one tank will be monstrous compared to this. Because remember, this one can't pierce it, and his armor isn't good enough to withstand the enemy, so it's going to die. It doesn't matter. So, this is what I would recommend, okay? This is a standard fucking build. Is you max out your armor and your engines, okay? You give a designer that gives you some armor... You get gasoline, you get cast, you get Chrissy suspension, and you take the medium gun, okay? The medium gun is, this tech you get for medium gun is at 1941, okay? This is the tank I would recommend for, like, the majority of your games you're going to be in, okay? If you can't get that tech, honestly, it doesn't matter. Just put a medium gun on it. You can't pierce the enemy anyway. Just get a gun that goes soft attack, okay? And get a 3-man turret, 1 machine gun, sloped armor, easy maintenance, and armored skirts, okay? And you get yourself to be unpierceable. 150 armor to 190 piercing, okay? Since it doesn't matter, I wouldn't be adding squeeze bar adapters, because it doesn't matter. You can't pierce them anyway. Even if you raise the piercing of your medium tank, okay? You still can't pierce yourself. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, okay? So, knowing that you can't pierce yourself, build this, okay? You could even take it a step further. If you wanted to ditch the gun completely for the heart attack, because you remember, you're only doing like 50 damage, half damage to the enemy, you could even swap it out for a close support gun, okay? But it depends, right? Close support gun or whatever you wanted to put on here that gives you more soft attack. Right now, the medium gun 2 gives you more soft attack, okay? You could put an artillery gun on here if you really, really, really felt like it. You could put a howitzer on here and give yourself more heart attack because your piercing doesn't matter anyway, but you lose out your heart attack. I don't know if I'd recommend that. I would stick with the gun, okay? So, that's for the medium, okay? Now we're going to go to the 1942 one, okay? Since you no longer... This high-velocity gun in 1942, I would usually recommend it, okay? And I would still recommend it. Now, here's why. You still will be able to get some piercing, okay? Now, here's the problem. I don't know enough, and remember, the meta is very new right now. putting a squeeze bore adapter costs 1 additional tungsten, okay? This gun already costs 2 tungsten per factory, okay? This is a massive resource cost. And since the 10 piercing isn't going to pierce your armor, I would get rid of it. Honestly, I'd get rid of it. Because you're not going to be able to pierce the enemy tank divisions. And losing that 1 tungsten for minus 12 piercing is fine, okay? So, again, a 1942 tank, okay? When you get this last tech right here for this anti-tank, okay, this is the tank I would build for the rest of the game, basically. 17, gas, cast, Christie, improved high velocity gun, 3-man turret, additional machine gun, sloped armor, easy maintenance, and armored skirts, okay? And you get a designer that gives you 5 armor or even more if you want, okay? That's it. Those are your actual medium tank designs, okay? I'm going to go over some TDs, okay? Your TD, it can pierce itself, which is good, but it doesn't matter if it can pierce itself because you don't have enough of these, okay? If you made a whole tank destroyer division, okay? If you made a whole tank destroyer division, that is exactly what it sounds like. If you make nothing but tank destroyers in your division, okay, and you use it against enemy tanks, I have said that this strategy was something I used beforehand. You can pierce. Barely. You can pierce. You can pierce. Barely. And this is what you're going to have to do if you want your TDs to actually be able to pierce the enemy tanks, okay? This is what you're going to have to do. But as an additional armor add-on to a tank division, this is it, okay? 17, gas, cast, Christie, improved high velocity gun because it's better than your heavy, okay? It's just better. Cool. You could even argue that your heavy one might be better because you get more soft attack, but hey, it's up to you there, okay? And you have additional piercing because you were a TD, you have additional 30% piercing, okay? Because you are a TD, right? If you take a look, you get 30% more piercing, and it still won't pierce, okay? I get a fixed structure here, but you could actually go back to a 3-man turret if you choose the high velocity gun, but that's up to you, okay? Squeeze bore adapter, sloped armor, easy maintenance, armored skirts. You're done, okay? That's your TD. Next, your artillery. Okay, the only thing that's going to change is you're going to leave everything the exact same as the other tanks. Okay, you're going to put an improved medium howitzer on here. Okay, in your medium armaments, improved medium howitzer, a 3-man turret, or you could do whatever. What is it? Additional machine gun, sloped armor, easy maintenance, armor skirts. Congratulations, you're done. The reason you're keeping the designs all the same is to keep the armor at stupid levels. Okay, because you can't pierce yourself, so it doesn't matter. Okay, now. There is some little play here. If you want a TD or a heavy tank, okay, that's the only one I would recommend is just a fucking heavy tank. For even more armor, I do with this. Get the Porsche designer, somebody gives you armor, 17, gasoline engine, cast, Christie suspension, improved gun, whatever. It doesn't really matter what's on this tank, okay? 3-man turret, additional machine gun, easy maintenance, sloped armor, and armored skirts. And it gives you 182 armor, and you can't pierce yourself. Congratulations, okay? I don't know if I would even recommend you building heavy tank destroyers, okay? They can't even pierce themselves. Like, what is the point? They can't even pierce themselves, okay? They have 178 piercing, okay? 178 piercing, okay? That is the same as your medium TDs. I just wouldn't even build them, but if you want, here. 17, gas, cast, Christie, improved heavy gun, doesn't matter, 3-man turret, squeeze bore adapter, easy maintenance, armor skirts, sloped armor, okay? Those are your designs you're just gonna have to go with. Okay, right? But there's nothing else you can do until they patch it. Until they patch it, which they're going to. Cool. This is the video that's gonna get you by until then, okay? So let's go over it one more time, okay? Light tanks are dead. They do not matter. Heavy tank, 1 battalion of heavy tanks has a purpose. Artillery versions of them and TDs don't matter. Don't build them, okay? Build the damn super heavy tank if you really want to, because I think it's funny, okay? But it's a 1943 tech, and you're still running into the same problem, okay? Mediums all the way, okay? Mediums you build forever, okay? They're the best tank in the game now. There's no bars. There's nothing against it, okay? For production-wise, cost-wise, and what they offer you, they're the best, okay? I recommend that you max out 17, okay, on any design you get, okay? You can get those techs very easy on your tank tab, okay? And all I would do, gasoline engine, cast, Christie, okay? I would give you armored skirts. I'd give you sloped armor, and you can after that. I don't really care. You can put whatever. I put easy maintenance and a squeeze bar adapter, 3-man turret, and an improved high velocity gun. But you can do whatever after that. Just remember: sloped armor, armored skirts, gas, cast, Christie, 1717, and a designer that gives you more armor. And that's it. That's the new tank meta. Okay, whatever you want to do with that, okay, you do. Okay, you want more soft attack, you do it because you can't pierce yourself. Okay, and just remember that this is a division that is standard. Okay, if you add an anti-tank to this, it will make the piercing come up by 2, as you can clearly see. But your armor goes down by 2, so it's not worth it. So you don't. And that's it. This is the standard tank template. Okay, this is just a standard one. It's not even a very massively OP one. It's just standard. Okay. And you can't pierce yourself. So I'd recommend that you optimize this to keep your armor above your piercing. Okay. And get as much soft attack as possible. And a hard attack, I would just build a standard TD division, okay? And a TD division is basically as many tank destroyers as you can put in a division that you feel comfortable with, okay? I would either recommend a 20 width or something around that nature, okay? If you want, you can go above it, but that's up to you, okay? Just make sure your org is at like 30-something, and then just add as many TDs as possible, okay? Like a 20 width is fine or something, okay? Because your piercing will be 139 against 116 armor, okay? This can at least pierce the enemy tanks. If you want to make this a 42 width for even more hard attack, you go right ahead, okay? But that's the only way you're going to pierce enemy tanks now. That's it. Infantry, you're fucked. TD guns aren't going to do anything. They'll piss off the tank. That's all they'll do. They will legitimately just piss off the tank. No matter how many AT guns you add, you can't pierce their armor, so it doesn't matter. They're just going to die anyway. You can't pierce them. So I don't even know if I'd recommend you even put guns on your damn thing. Some of the attacks will get through for you to do hard attacks, so that's a given. It depends. You're just not going to be able to pierce the enemy, but you'll still do damage from hard attacks, so AT guns are probably still worth it. But yeah, other than that, Paradox is going to fucking patch this. I guarantee you. I guarantee you within less than a month, they're going to patch this out and move the piercing up again. And then the whole fucking thing will change again. But other than that, guys, leave a like, whatever. On your screen should be a video back to my factory conversion guide, which is a much simpler thing and a lot more stable than tanks are. So I'll catch you guys around.